All right. No more crying. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to avoid getting manipulated, hopefully. And I know y'all are laughing, like, why are you teaching the class? Well, I do have some points that I wrote out, but then I also asked a couple friends. All right, these friends. Well, okay, one of them is AI. It's not ChatGPT, just AI in general. And then the other one, okay, they don't know I exist, but still, we're gonna get a couple different perspectives. So I do have a lot of valuable points, and I feel like the other two friends that I mentioned can, yeah, contribute a lot as well. So I was gonna call this video like how to get respect, but that's not what's happening here. Like, there's not a guarantee that people are going to respect you. There's a lot of other ways to get respect. I think there's a lot of silent ways to get respect, especially. But so I kind of, um, yeah, decided not to go that route and instead do is how to not get manipulated. But I did want to start with a story about the dog park because the dog park has been such an interesting thing. It's like the perfect social experiment because these people are pretty much at random. You know, we're all just kind of there because of our dogs. And it's interesting to see people interact. Like when someone makes a bold comment, who's going to say something? Is someone going to say something? Are we all just going to stand there really uncomfortably? Because, you know, when you've been going there for months, it's really awkward, you know, when something happens and you don't speak up. I get uncomfortable when I can tell everyone else is uncomfortable. Like one person or one dog or something is making the whole group uncomfortable. I'm usually the one to speak up about it. And you can tell people are relieved, like after I speak up about it, but no one really wants to, you know, and then the person who whatever it was, you know, they can think I'm a B word, but you know, I talked about that with my therapist today, actually, and I've talked to a couple of them about it. And what's becoming very scary is that the more people I tell, you know, the more people I trust who have, you know, degrees or some kind of license in counseling or therapy or something like that, you know, as we're exploring kind of why people might have these assumptions about me, we've kind of gotten down to the bottom. There's no way to not sound narcissistic when I say this, but you know, sometimes the person who reacts is just the person who gets blamed for the whole thing, you know, whatever it was. Oftentimes something happens, one of us has to speak up, and then we're kind of pinned for the whole situation and all the drama. We started it, right? In fact, yeah, one of my friends, he does watch these videos, so I'm not talking trash. I promise. I'm like stuttering because I'm already getting nervous. But um, yeah, he said tonight because I did have to bite at someone at the dog, not literally, but I should the autistic girl. You never know what she's capable of. No, but at the dog park, and he said something afterwards, and he said something about me starting it, like, well, don't start anything or something like that. And I mean, we're this is one of my new friends, okay? So I'm not gonna go off, but in the back of my mind, I was like, what do you mean, me start something? So these people, you know, there's a group of us that meet with our dogs every single night, and they're all super good dogs. They're off leash, they all get along, we all get along, it's fine. But every once in a while, you know, you'll get someone that just wants to be a part of it, or maybe they're just not watching their dog or whatever, and the dog comes up and the dog's like biting at the dogs, or you know, just has bad manners, I guess. Maybe they're like mounting the other dogs and stuff like that, and the owners, like, sometimes it's really annoying, but they don't watch the dogs. So a couple of days ago that happened, and this is gonna tie in later. Well, shortly actually. But yeah, it was a couple of days ago at the dog park. We're all there. These two dogs come up that none of us have ever seen before. We're like, who is this? One of the dogs runs up and starts nipping at the other dogs. And I can tell what's dogs, like they're playing, and what's aggressive behavior. You can tell on their face. You know, even like a dog showing their teeth, that's not even necessarily indicative of, you know, the dog being triggered or like aggressive or defensive. They do play like that, but this dog was not only showing its teeth, it was, you know, biting the other dogs around the neck and it was growling, and it was kind of like turning its back, like kind of pivoting like that, like really defensive, okay? It's just kind of dog body language. And it did get aggressive with a couple of the dogs. And I was like, where's the owner? Because the owner just let the dog like dart towards the group of our dogs. And again, we're all very familiar. We're like, we see each other almost on a daily basis. And so like, who are these dogs? You know what I mean? And the lady came up and we were all kind of like, is she gonna say anything? Is she gonna introduce herself? Like, of course we weren't saying that, but you could tell on people's faces. And then the dog was like nipping at one of the dogs, like in kind of a serious way. Coincidentally, the owner was walking right next to me. And so maybe I shouldn't have said it, but I just was trying to make a joke and like just kind of bring it up. And I said, what did I say? I said, like, your dog's kind of small to be picking fights like that, or something like that, because it was a relatively small dog. It was like a little Jack Russell or something. I'm not sure, but, and she kind of laughed it off, and she was like, yeah, she's usually not like that, blah, blah, blah. And then she proceeds to jump on the dog, not jump, but like, get after the dog a few times in the next 60 seconds. And that's when it got awkward, because it's like, I called it out. It was in fact a problem. And then so she eventually left and that took care of that. But you could tell the other people were relieved that I spoke up about it. And then that happened again today. And I can't say that people were relieved. I think I did make people uncomfortable because it's a huge field. These people had their dog off of a leash, which a leash not only keeps your dog safe, but if your dog's not friendly or like you shouldn't be interacting with other dogs, that's a signal to other dog owners to not let their dogs run up to yours, especially if you're in a field with all these other dogs off leash. Like, it's just common sense, right? What is that anymore? But yeah, so these people were walking right towards the group of us. And so I let Ping Pong run up to their dog, and Ping Pong was playing with the dog and going boo, 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 and kind of like nipping at their butt. You know how they do, like they tag each other. And all of a sudden I was like, are they getting mad? And sure enough, the people were getting mad, and I'm like, what's going on? So I called Ping Pong over to me, and the people started, like, their faces were really angry, and I was so confused. And they said, like, your dog's biting our dog on the butt, like it's an old dog. And I'm like, oh, well, it's not on a leash. Like, I thought you were just coming to play, like, And then they said something else. They said, yeah, your dog's biting our dog on the butt. And they were like so angry about it. And I was just like, sorry if I was an a-hole, but I was just like, are you joking? That's such a millennial thing, right? Like, are you joking right now? But seriously, I was. And they got so mad, and like a couple things went back and forth. I think I was just trying to say, like, that's how dogs play. Like, are you kidding me? So it was a couple. So there was an older couple with an older dog, whatever, probably like in their 40s. And they were both like yelling at me. And I was like, you know what? I said my concluding statement, no profanity or anything, and I started to walk away. The gentleman, the husband, I guess, probably, I don't know, he starts cussing at my back and trying to argue further. And I'm not gonna lie, once someone starts cursing at me, that line has been crossed, and I say the first thing that comes to mind, okay? So I did say, I was walking away already. He was shouting at my back, that's disrespectful. And I just kept walking, and I said, "Goff." Like, goff. You know what I mean? It was like it wasn't aggressive. It was just like yeah. You know what I mean? Like, see you later. No one has even ever seen these people before. And this park is like a neighborhood. I don't know, whatever. So that's just an example of like, sometimes you have to be the B word, but tying into the therapy thing, like a lot of people that I tell them what happened, a lot of people, like even therapists, are like, you know what? You kind of had a point. I've even had therapists watch my YouTube videos, and I won't say they like them or anything, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but they do admit that they're unhinged and they're out there, but they're like, you know what? We think that you're saying what you need to say, and we support it. And honestly, that means the world. So I just want to get into these points. I just wanted to kind of start with like why I'm bringing that up, because I was yeah, not to get into a little rant, really briefly, super briefly, I was driving to the dog park and I was like, what am I gonna make a video about tonight? And I was almost starting to panic, and then I thought, no, it'll come to you, it'll come to you. And then while I was at the dog park, all that happened. And then I was like steaming on the way home, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe, because that's not the first interaction like that I've had in the last, yeah, not even the dogs. Even just, yeah, I think I talked about it in the other videos. Like, people have just popped off on me, and it is not the week for that. You know what I mean? Like, the autistic girl's got her lip gloss on. Like, I'm trying to talk smack right now because you know it's serious. Like, am I going to wipe this off the second we're done here? You bet your sweet booty. What is it? Tree Trunk says that, you bet your sweet booty. But anywho, cringe. But yeah, so, but like, I was just gonna say, does it make me hypocritical? Because like, I asked the first lady with her dogs, who was, you know, getting aggressive with our dogs and nipping at our dogs. I told her, like, your dog's nipping at our dogs, like, what's good? Like, are you gonna, you know what I mean? But then a couple days later, someone else got mad at my dog for nipping at their butt. So I'm like, is that hypocritical? But here's the difference. That's why I was saying, you know, the body language of the dog is so important here, because that dog came in hot. Like, it came in, you could tell its ears were back, its teeth were out. It was like, what's going on? You could tell it was very overwhelmed by all the other dogs. But yeah, so I just wanted to say, no, like, I am aware, I'm just aware of the body language, that like autistic sixth sense, for whether that's from like autism or trauma, or maybe just studying behavior, like for my jobs. You know, I've worked with a lot of nonverbal people, and you have to be in tune to communicate with them, you know, because it's obviously, right? You have to be so in tune with their body, when they're hungry, when they're thirsty, when they need a break, when they need to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? You're avoiding accidents and things like that. So it's very important. I'm always the one to speak up, and people don't like it. Like, annoying people, when, like I talked about at the dog park, like low quality items, that's another thing. Like, I'm always the one to make the return and like be the Karen. But you know what? Like, I don't have a lot of money, and I do a lot of research before I get a product or go somewhere to get something. I am so strategic because it's hard for me to go to stores. So if I make an order or something, you bet your sweet booty that I've spent probably days like looking up, you know, and comparing reviews, comparing everything. So like, what's up with these? Dude, my notes are so random, but like, what's up with these watery $6 Starbucks drinks? Like, no shade, but I've had to turn around a couple times now, and it makes me so uncomfortable. And sometimes I don't go back because I just get the vibe from the person that they would like spit in my drink if I went back. But a couple times it's been someone really nice, so I go back and I'm just like, hey, like, I'm not sure what happened. These are usually really good, but this one was really watery this time. Maybe like a scoop of something got missed, or, and I try to be cool about it like that. But if you're charging $6 for drinks, or like this jacket I just got, like this winter coat, the zipper busted after like 2 weeks, and then it's like made in China, you know, but it's like, that's way too expensive to be breaking like that. So there's low quality, and I that stuff is one of my biggest things that I get in confrontations with people, is just like low quality stuff, like Amazon returns in general. Just don't make me fight then. Like, I don't want to be a Karen. Just be reasonable. Like, what would you want done if it were you in my position? Like, if you were seeking out a service or a product, like, what would you want? And people are appalling sometimes because they're just so, like, they can tell it's messed up. Even last night I was fighting with some lady on the phone, don't even have time to get into it. And I just told her, blah, 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 don't you think that's slimy? And she was silent. And I'm sorry, but I went at it again. I was like, don't you think that's slimy? And she confirmed about her own people, you know, because people are so deceptive, and I'm sick of it. But I really need to get through these notes, because it's not only like what I want to say, but I also have those others. So like, I plan a lot though. Like I said, I do a lot of research and get high quality stuff on sale. So if I go through all that trouble of like researching the highest quality, waiting for the sale, everything just to get, and then it not, you know, it be poorly made, that's deceptive. You know what I mean? So that is why I freak out, is because I plan a lot. And I always have. I've always got bent out of shape when something changes, usually because everything's so strategic. I've been being able to, touch on that. So, like restaurants too. That's why I just don't go. I just don't. Like, because it's low quality ingredients and the employees don't care equals ew is what I put in my notes because it's so true. That's so, like, think about it, you guys. And it's even worse through these delivery services because there's no accountability there. No one, I've worked in food service multiple times with DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff, and those orders are the least cared for because you're never, even if the order sucks, they're not gonna be able to come back and complain. So of course they're not gonna care. Of course they're not gonna wash their hands. Gross. Quit eating at restaurants. Hot take. Didn't COVID teach us that? So if it's burnt, like send it back. But what I recommend doing, like people will say, like, speak up for yourself, send back food if it doesn't fit your fancy and make them remake it. But I go, not one step further, but a different route. Will say, I like to get the refund, especially if the people, like, you can feel out the vibe. If they're really cool with you and you think that they can accept a little tiny, request like that, but do not feel bad requesting a refund and walking out because usually if the vibe's not there, at best you're just gonna get, someone's gonna spit in your food. At best they're gonna spit in your food. You ask for a refund and you leave, bestie. Your boss, your coworkers, do not. This is getting into it, okay? This is how we're not gonna get manipulated. That was like kind of my long ADHD intro. God bless you if you're still with us. So, your boss, your coworkers, do not let them undermine your intelligence. These are my points, by the way. Not that that's like an original thing, but that is the first thing that came to mind because the second that you let people undermine your intelligence, even if they don't say anything, in that moment, their perception of you changes, and anyone who witnessed that, like my old boss, then I got fired. She used to put me on blast, like in the group text and like in the group messages and teams and everything where everyone could see it. She would undermine my intelligence, like make me kind of like look dumb, even though it was just a very neutral thing that I said or a very reasonable question that I asked. So don't let people undermine your intelligence. And what does that mean? So undermine, I actually looked it up just so I'm telling you accurately. And the first definition was to lessen the effectiveness or ability of, especially gradually and insidiously. And insidiously, look that one up for you too. You're welcome. That kind of just means subtly or slyly. Slyly. That was my word, and I had to look up if that one was a real word or not, but slyly is a word. But that's leading to the next point. Do not be deceived. If people, we're going to go through a little list here. This one's especially for you autistics. I love you with all my heart. You have the most special place in my heart. Like, I wanted to help autistic people before I even knew I was autistic. I don't know why. I've always just seen you guys out here trying, and it's a struggle. And I think now I obviously know maybe I saw me, and maybe it's not selfless love at all or whatever, the mean, nasty people want to say, bring it on. But I care about you guys so much. And so this is especially for you because I wanted to make it very concrete. Like, these are the things that you can look for, and all these, I just connected all these dots in the last year. So don't feel bad. Don't feel naive. Don't feel, like a doormat or whatever. If you don't know these things, just, get a pen and paper right now, please, because incoming, these are so valuable from me and my two little friends. Okay, let's get into it. So do not be deceived. So these are the signs that people could be trying to manipulate you or deceive you. Number 1, are they pushy? Are they way too pushy? Number 2, inconsistent facial expressions. This sends chills down my spine. When you see someone like joking around with someone like, and then you see them look away and it goes, does that not freak you the out? That boss that I was telling you about, she used to do that, and I was like, she's slimy. She's slimy. And sure enough, she was slimy. She turned out to be the slimiest of all, in fact. Slithering around. She'd be ashamed of herself. No, just kidding, I'll stop. But yeah, inconsistent facial expressions, that is so watch out, okay? Inconsistent boundaries. So this can look like double standards, right? Do they, or like inconsistent expectations? Do they expect different things from their different kids? Or is it even? You know, is this person fair? Do they hold justice and fairness? You know, and just, let's see, like honesty, accountability, integrity. Integrity. That is so important. So inconsistent boundaries, double standards. If they break a single promise, and you know, I almost went back on this one and I was like, nah, that might be kind of steep. Should we give them grace? And then I wrote grace question mark. What do you think? Should we give them grace? Because I have been deceived so many times. There's no reason. But why I really went back on this and decided to put it in here for sure is because you guys hopefully can relate to when you break not even a promise, but just like you said you would be somewhere. Like, even just for example, like it was Halloween. It was really nice. Little lady and her dog at the dog park said, "We're going to dress up for Halloween on this day. Spread the word." And she did. She went around spreading it. I went around telling people, but I was like really struggling with my mental health when that day came around and the costume just didn't come together. And I was hoping, since I told everybody and stuff, other people, but long story short, I get to the dog park and she was the only one that dressed up. And I felt terrible. I was going to make Ping Pong into a skunk, but it just didn't work. It just didn't quite. And it was, you know, it was because, but I felt so bad because I did tell her at the start, you know, I've got a lot going on right now, but I really will try. But something about me just like saying that and then not, I felt devastated. So you guys breaking promises intentionally, that's kind of like psychopathic behavior in my autistic book. And that's not to sound self-righteous, but like autistic people are so forthright and transparent. Like if we promise you something, or even if we just say something, like, because we hate expecting something and then it just not happening, because sometimes we plan our whole day around something that might be so insignificant to you, but that might be something that's really hard for us or takes a lot of attention. So we plan our whole day, and then if you just don't show up or something, it's devastating. So don't break your promises, and if people do, watch out. I'm not telling you you have to leave the first time or anything, but please be careful, because people that are principled, that do have integrity, again, sorry to like be up here on this high horse, but like we don't break promises. We feel bad even just saying what, even like the Discord, you guys. I just put out a short earlier. This was not planned at all to weave into this video, I swear on my life. But I just put out that Discord video saying, hey, the people on Discord, or like anyone on YouTube here that has any kind of like emotional intelligence, would you mind hopping over to Discord and just like encouraging people sometimes and just helping your girl out, because I need a day off here and there. Not that it's been that stressful to manage, truly. I just want to kind of relieve the pressure of me, of like kind of having to check it. At least I kind of tell myself I have to check it just to make sure, you know, not that it's my responsibility or anything, but like that someone doesn't really need help, like someone's in a crisis. And luckily there's already been like a few people on there that chime in for other people and have been supporting. So like I was just trying to kind of, you know, just keep that going so I can kind of just, because it's not the point of the video, but I'm here. You know, these videos are because I'm trying to make a living, you know, and I do care about you guys, but I'm putting them out so often because I'm trying to make a living. Like I have all these ideas. I had it coming into the game, but I just, you know, I thought I was going to be doing this at a slower pace, but it's like boom, 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 boom. And I've just been trying to crank them out because that's where we're at. That's what we need to do. I'm not going to be asking for you guys' money and just sitting on my butt. Like I'm going to give you everything that I can. And everything that I can is in here, but I'm going to, you know, not that I'm that smart. I just have experience. And so, but yeah, let's continue, shall we? So the promises thing, inconsistent opinions. So this is why I broke up with military guy. Because if people don't stick to what they believe and don't stick up for you, run. Because they're never gonna. If that's not there at the start and they don't have your back, they're not gonna after you're married. They're not gonna. Okay? And this guy, like, you know, he got all cozy with my friend's parents. That's so weird. That's so weird. Whatever. He got all cozy with them and let them, like, sweet talk him and brainwash him, I guess. I still don't even know, because I just quit talking to all of them. I'm like, you know what? You all are just a bunch of sheep. They all just adopted the same mindset and just drilled it into me that I was broken. I just wanted to be special. I wasn't a real adult. I just needed to try harder. And if they helped me at all, they would be condoning it. And like, they want me to just be independent. Yeah, you guys taught me independence, but not by the way that you intended to do so, I don't think. Like, not through love. You taught me independence because you taught me that I couldn't trust anyone. So thanks, I guess. You know, I've thought about that so much since that's happened. Like, they did teach me independence, but it's from a place of fear, because I fear other people. It's not because I love, you know, it's not out of love. It is now, like, I guess, because, you know, but it wasn't because of that. It's because of this whole endeavor. But anywho, so inconsistent opinions, if they don't have a backbone and they don't stick up for what they believe in and they freaking fold the first time a different opinion steps in the room, that person's weak. What are you doing with them? You don't want them in, because the second someone starts to talk trash about you in front of this person, you think they're going to defend you? Not a chance. So do their opinions change to fit the crowd they're in at that moment? Inconsistent communication. So that means, can they communicate in some situations that are all lighthearted, but then the second things get tense or awkward or emotional, they shut down? Red flag. Do they lie? That's inconsistent communication. Red flag. Are there huge gaps in texts? You know, do they only text you when they're obligated, like on holidays, or when they need something, or when they're gonna need something? If someone texts you all out of the blue, don't get too excited. Wait a few days, because usually they slip in something that they need after that text when you haven't heard from them in a while. So watch out. People do manipulate you. Inconsistent behavior. So this is like being over dramatic. Like one of my grandmas, dude, my grandma, dude. Yeah, the over dramatic thing. Like if she needs help carrying something, I've seen her do this multiple times and I am appalled. I never noticed this when I was younger, but since I've obviously matured, gone to therapy, read some books, then I come home a decade into my adult life and I'm seeing these things happen over and over. And this thing happened. It was the same type of thing. She couldn't carry something. And instead of asking for someone else to carry it or asking for a hand, she just huffed and puffed. Like, oh my gosh. And have you ever seen it in person? Like, it happened in real time where, like, someone is just laying it on thick, right? But they don't know that someone's watching, and you're just, like, watching them out of the corner of your eye or something. And then all of a sudden you see them turn it off and turn it on for someone. Like, you see someone coming into the room and they all of a sudden go, oh, you know what I mean? It is bone chilling, dude. Oof, it is bone chilling. Can they just turn it on and turn it off? That is a red flag, babe. Come on. So the next one is their appearance. Are they super concerned with their appearance? Because, like, yeah, I put on lip gloss. I made sure I didn't have any major tangles in my hair and stuff like that. But I'm not, like, contoured out with a bunch of concealer on every time. No offense, ladies, no offense. But I just want to keep it real. Like, I want to open a space where, like, acne is accepted and uneven skin tones are accepted and purple under your eyes for the fellow emo kids out there. It's just like, you know what? It happens, you know? But yeah, so are they overly concerned with their appearance, and are they competitive? I think that those two things are kind of related. I don't got time to get into that, though. I can make a video about it if you want. You'll have to let me know. I'm trying to be mindful of time. Not admitting they're wrong. And this one I wrote as a two-parter. So A is not admitting they're wrong, like accountability, like when they wrong others wrong. But then point B is when they're wrong about a fact. Have you ever met someone who they will just argue the frickin' point until it's 3 a.m. instead of just saying, oops, I might have made a mistake? Oops, I must have flip-flopped that in my head. Isn't that so annoying? Ugh. So just admit when you're wrong, okay? Acting too nice. Ew. Excessive compliments, trying to touch you. I freaking hate that. And I don't think that that's just the autism. I think that everyone should be kind of like, what are you doing? When someone that you do not know starts to kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what the? are you doing? Especially, I don't know why this gets me, but like when someone grabs my shoulders like that, especially from behind, like lighten up, I'm like, you know what I mean? And if they could see my face when they touch me, I don't think they'd touch me again, okay? And I turn around and I'm like, hello? Like, oh, okay, so I think I think that's pretty much it. But oh yeah, real quick, I gotta finish this acting too nice. Trying to touch you. So do they use your name a lot, like excessively? Like, well, I'll tell you this, Twyla. Well, Twyla, blah blah. You know, Twyla. You know, that's just like I don't like that. I don't like that. It's unnecessary. And it's kind of okay. This is not related, and this is not like for sure in here, but it kind of weirds me out. I'm gonna catch so much heat for this rip. But like, I don't know why people excessively use people's names in like texting and stuff like that. Because like, obviously, you know who you're sending that message to. Like, I can understand, or like in person, it's nice to hear your name, or like it can add sincerity, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't really quite make sense to me when someone's like just texting you back and forth and it's just you and them in the conversation, like you and like a potential partner or something. I'm like, why do they keep saying that? Rubs me the wrong way. It just does. It just does. And I think it kind of ties into this of just like them wanting to like manipulate you. Maybe. I don't know. It's a theory. Help me out with that one. Um, Related to that, like if they call you my friend, if they just met you, like online is different, okay? Don't come at me because like yeah, my comments like glad you're here, friend, you know, like stuff like that because yeah, this is a community that we've started here. This is online, that's different. But if people are just coming up to you and getting real friendly with you like that, do not let them do that, especially if you're pretty cool like me. No, just kidding. No, but sometimes people do just want like a pretty girl on their arm or someone like cool, or whether it's that your music taste or your style or what you're into or whatever, people will use that to get clout. Like, or if you have a lot of followers, or if you're successful, or if you have a lot, or if your parents are rich, you know, even, you don't even have to be rich. Even if your parents are rich, they'll still use you. You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. But yeah, let's get into the AI, shall we? Super quick. So these are the ones that I looked this. So I wrote all these, and then I thought to myself, you know, let me make sure I didn't miss anything super important because I want to bring this to you guys to make sure we are not getting manipulated. But obviously, I'm not the best one for that. I've been divorced twice. I'm autistic. Obviously, there's going to be some error there. AI, to add to that, said sudden eagerness to help, watch out. Overly enthusiastic agreement with your opinions. Ew. You know what? That makes me think of this podcast. I'm not going to mention her name because she seems nice enough, but like I've always gotten this vibe of like just that she's disingenuous. There's like inauthenticity. Like she's just, and it's because of that. Like she seems nice, her husband seems nice, but every time she has someone on her show, she's like this. And I'm not even cringe. I can't believe I just did that. But that is not even over exaggerating. In fact, it's probably blowing the whistle on who that is. You know, let's play a game of charades, shall we? Because it bugs the crap out of me because she has such good guests on that show, but like I can't watch it because she does that. And I'm like, ew, what is that? Anyways, not to talk crap, especially about other girls. Like, look, I am a girl's girl, but like, let's be authentic, okay? Let's be real. Exaggerated, these are AI's additions to that. We're almost through them. Exaggerated interest in your life. You know, no one's that interested in your life right off the bat. Okay? The next one is, do they shift when they need something? And do they request favors without asking for anything in return? And there's one that says gifts as well. You know, I was kind of hesitant to put that in there. Of course, use your own discernment because as an autistic person, I do love to give little gifts and I love to receive little, but they're little. That's the key word. You know, little, I was thinking of you, that's okay. But if someone's like showering you with these huge things, they probably want something from you. Look around, dude. Look at the world. People ain't trying to just do that for fun, just out of the goodness of their heart. Where? You know what I mean? I'm such a bad influence, but like, ugh, people are so gross. So gross. Ew, ew, ew. But that brings me to, yeah, my friend that I listen to sometimes. He's great. His name is Leo Skeppy, and he has his own podcast, and he's just so encouraging. And I knew that he would have something to say about this, so I had already written my points, and I thought before I film the video while I eat this dinner, let me just take some notes to see if, you know, he has anything valuable. And the video that I chose to watch was, it's red flags in relationships, and it's, again, Leo Skeppy, and this one is episode 110. If you want to go check it out, I will put it in the description. And he says more red flags, and this is for, again, relationships, but I think this is totally interchangeable. In fact, we were like through the list almost halfway where I remembered that we were just talking about relationships, because I was thinking of friends for every one of these, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is true. And I was thinking friends, so these really can be for both. Listen up. So the first one is the phone face down, or is it always on do not disturb? Like, why is their phone always face down? You know, what are they trying to hide? Or like the shower thing. This is what I wanted to add on to that. But one time I caught one of my partners like cheating, like being somewhere with a girl that they lied to me and said that they were at work. Do I have proof that they slept together? No, so I'm not gonna say that. The girl's sexual orientation, it wouldn't make sense for them to, but that could have been a lie too. But the thing that got me, I think I had gone through, I think that was the first or second time I had ever gone through this individual's phone, and we were like 3 or 4 years into the relationship at this point. But I just noticed that he went to go take a shower, and again, you have to notice, people. You have to be watching. If you're scrolling on TikTok, you're gonna miss this crap, okay? But if you watch mother effers like I do, kind of in a creepy way, just like if they're acting sus, I'm watching. If they're not, whatever, I have better things to do. But if you're acting sus, I'm gonna be like, you know what I mean? And he did. He went in the bathroom to take a shower, and then after the door was closed, he came back out, got his phone, and went back in. And I went, oh hell no. And can I say that on here? I don't know. But either way, I walked and I said, give me your phone. And I went through it, and sure enough, I saw that he was at her house. And this is the thing. When he was already I saw the text that he said, walking to your house. And I saw those texts. The time was when he was on a break at work. And this is the person who, you know what? Never mind. It's not the point of the video. But either way, if they do stuff like that, you can ask, okay? I like to respect privacy, and I do. But as soon as I have a reason not to, trust that gut, baby. Come on. It's there for a reason. So I just wanted to add that on. Yeah. Or, wait, real quick. I wanted to add again onto that. Do they pick up their phone the second you leave? The husband after that, ew. I would get up out of bed or something, and I would go to the bathroom, because we would watch, it was just a horrible toxic relationship, and we would just lay there and rot and just watch stuff in bed. And so I would get up, and the second I was out of the doorway to go to the bathroom, he was on his phone, because I started catching him, because, you know, I have ADHD, so I oftentimes forget something. But if I'm through the doorway and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot this, but I don't say it out loud, and I just turn around, I'm not kidding. As soon as as soon as I oriented my body away from him, he probably whipped his phone out. Like, people are so addicted. That is a red flag. If they are that addicted, because it makes you feel like they were just suffering in your presence, but as soon as you walked away, they're like, oh, thank gosh, dang, what's going on TikTok? What a loser. So anyways, flirting in the comment section. Again, these are Leo's points, not mine. Flirting in the comment sections, red flag. He said, take it to the DMs and have some decency. Oh, this is a great one, and I've thought of this before, but I'm so glad that he reminded us of this. I don't want to say me, because I'm totally trying to be humble here, and these are not my points, but I've thought of this. I'm just agreeing here. They don't wait until you're inside to leave. Like, if someone drops you off and they don't wait until you're inside your house to drive off, red flag. They don't care about you. If they don't, like, it's not giving, I care about your well-being. You know, or if they drop you off at your car and then they don't make sure that you're in your car and your car starts and everything, that's a fake friend, dude. Walk. He says also a thing that rubs him the wrong way is that it's not your business, you know? Like, I almost didn't put that in here, but then I was like, that's fair, because at the end of this point, he said, like, it's their relationship with shame that you're looking at, is when it's like, it's not your business. It's how they answer the question. with the it's not your business? Is it a defensive? You know, because sometimes I say, what's it to ya? Like, what's it to ya? You know, when I do it, like, I'd say I'm like 28% kidding when I say that, because someone will just be like asking me an annoying question, like why I'm doing something this way, like if I'm cooking or like doing something or whatever. Like, I'm so patient with kids and stuff, but if a grown butt adult comes up and they're like just excessively asking me, sometimes I'm rude, okay? Sometimes I'm sorry, but I'm like, what's it to ya? You know what I mean? But like, that's so much different than like if someone asked me about my past partner or something like that and I said it's none of your business. Like, that's given a red flag, you know? So that's the difference I just wanted to highlight there. Yeah, it should be obvious, right? But if they're not texting back and they're not attentive, you know, that's, yeah, I feel like that should be obvious, but like, it's not obvious to me sometimes. I make excuses for people a lot, but that makes you look a fool, because then you're like following up with this person and they don't want to talk to you, bestie. Like, if they wanted to, they would, okay? So, do they do anything to offer you peace of mind? You know, do they reassure you when they're gonna be at a party or a club or kind of going on vacation or something kind of not sketchy, but like something where something could happen and you don't, I don't like it when people, you know, put people in the position to be like, hey, can you text me up? Because then that makes that person look insecure. So just be the bigger person and be like, hey, I got you. Like, I know I was saying I was going here, but I just want you to know it's just with some friends. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you some pictures while I'm there. And Leo says, I didn't know this, but he said if there's pics, if they send you a picture from where they're at, save it. And when you save it to your phone, swipe up. And after you swipe up, you're able to see the date and time of the picture and sometimes the location. And if you can't, supposedly, if you can't see the location, that means that they specifically turned it off. That's what he said. I don't know. We're almost through these. Planning consistently and showing enthusiasm. If they don't plan consistently and they're not, you know, trying to make efforts to see you again, like, and it's not reciprocated and it's always just you making the plans, And again, these should be obvious, but we're just gonna remind ourselves, okay? Be gentle with yourselves. Don't let them just fly out your butt because you're like, yeah, everyone knows that. Like, let it sink in, bestie. Come on, rewind it if you have to. But this stuff is important. And as autistic people, sometimes we don't do this stuff. Downplaying appreciation for your acts or compliments. So yeah, if you do something nice for them or you compliment them and they just like downplay it and like don't really express appreciation for that, like, that's a red flag. That I want to take things slow and then proceeds to take things fast, you know, that's a red flag. If people just don't want to commit by saying that they want to take things slow, but then they're pushy with you in the bedroom, they're inviting you to see like all of their friends and family, they're like want you to hang out all the time. I've had guys that ask me to go out over their house every weekend and stay there for like 3 days at a time. And then it's like the first week that we're hanging out, I went to his birthday party, and then a week later he was asking me to go to his dad's birthday party, and his dad was like requesting that I was there and stuff, and I was like, this is just some guy I met off the internet who we were like, I just was trying to like blow off some steam, if you know what I mean. I'm not trying to go to your dad's birthday party, and I didn't. But yeah, he did invite me, and I remember thinking, you know, this was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, but I remember even back then thinking that's a red flag. So do not go. Like, these people usually want arm candy, or there's something to gain by having your presence there. And your presence is so valuable. Leo taught me that. Like, I'm sure he put in this video somewhere, but I've watched videos of his that are all about that, of just like your time and your attention and your just interest in people. That sounds really bad, but like even just you paying attention to them, that is so valuable. Do not let people take advantage of that. If you feel yourself, this was an interesting one. If you feel yourself withdrawing, like all of a sudden from someone, get out. And I almost didn't put it in here because I didn't put every single point of his video in here. I just put the ones that really resonated. And I almost didn't put it in here, but then he explained. And he said that if you feel like withdrawing from someone, like just ripping all your love back from them all of a sudden like that, and I've thought about that and I'm like, I don't want to put that in the video. Like, what if that like turns spouses on each other or something like that? Like, I'm not trying to cause problems necessarily, but like, you only do that, he said, because you feel unappreciated. Like, that is the only thing that makes you feel like you want to pull back like that. So watch out. Just notice when that's happening. Why is that happening? Chances are you don't feel appreciated. Are they unimpressed by everything? And it's also just a bummer when this happens, like, not to talk crap, but like, and I know it comes from just rough childhoods and trauma, but like my last couple of partners just like didn't like celebrating anything. Like they didn't like their birthdays. They just wanted to pass over it. They didn't really like, you know, like Christmas and stuff like that. And like, which is fine, you know, if they have their reason. But if they're like that, and then also they're just unimpressed by they never really get excited. They never, that just means that they are just not happy to be here. And they're not going to make you very happy if you're with them. And do not do the missionary dating, like the rescuing them from their misery. And I can help them. Don't take it from me. I am a shell of a human being. Okay? Do not. So, because if they're unimpressed by everything, that usually means that they have little appreciation. And they're probably going to have little appreciation for you. Okay? Do they blame your reaction? And that's the last one. Oh, wait, I lied. Do they blame your... there's a couple more really good ones. The unwillingness to commit. We kind of touched on that. And hunting and looking for reassurance multiple times. If you're constantly looking for reassurance, you shouldn't have to be doing that ever. Multiple times, that's a red. Once, okay, twice, maybe, but multiple times, But going back to that one, because I just love that one personally. Do they blame your reaction? Because that's why people call me these names. Dude, if it weren't for these things happening and no one else wanting to speak up, like that guy making my dog growl and then cussing at me and my dog because my dog growled when she's marked give us space, and you tried to pet her twice after she growled at you twice. What is wrong with you? Sorry, like, call me a narcissist, whatever. You guys, not you guys, because it's not all of you, but like people on the internet, dude, I'm so sick of people calling me a racist and a freaking homophobe and a transphobe and everything else. I'm like, you guys don't know the meaning of the word if you think that that's what I'm about. Get out, you know. But for those of you that actually do get what I'm about, thank you. I appreciate your support. You're very loved, and I hope you come back. Hope to see you soon, because there's so much on the horizon. I just want to give you guys everything that I can just to give back for I'm like almost at 2K. Like, this is absolutely amazing. I've barely been doing this for like 2 or 3 months now, and this has changed my life. So I can't thank you guys enough. But that's all I have for tonight. Thanks, guys.